Hey everybody, welcome to the Microsoft 365 Pulse, where we have the updates on what's happening in the roadmap. We're going to start out with what is in development. This means that I'm yawning, sorry. This means that Microsoft is working on these features, developing how they'll work, testing them out, seeing what's going on. So, Tom, why don't you talk to us about what is in development?
Okay, one, Microsoft Stream, site level video analytics dashboard. This is interesting. It says the dashboard gives access to aggregated analytics for videos on a SharePoint site. This feature will go live in late January for customers who are enrolled in the private preview of Stream's advanced video analytics. Then you can join, a little later on. We expect the dashboard to enter general availability in June. The metrics on this are divided into the following sections. First, the lifetime video report contains 3 metrics for videos on the SharePoint site: total views, unique views, and average watch rate, which is awesome. Second, video traffic report shows views and viewer patterns across the last 7, 30, and 90 days. And then the final one, video usage, shows views by device and geolocation. And fourth, top 20 videos shows a list of the most popular videos on the SharePoint site in the last week. These are things I've heard people complain about and want in our environment. And I've always said, the stats are what you got. That's it. Enjoy them. So I'm loving the fact that this is going to be out there and that we will have ways to tell exactly how many views have occurred on items and things like that. That's desperately needed.
Awesome. How about you, Tamara?
Ooh, I like Outlook, working hours and location. New working hours and location options in Outlook lets people set more flexible working hours each day and specify the location where they plan to work. So you can also view your colleague's work location when scheduling a meeting. And that's coming out for everybody in April.
And I think they're just rolling that out now to Outlook. I believe they've had it in Teams because I know that I did a tip on it like 3, 4, 5 months ago. And it must have been on a team setup on the calendar because I remember going in and going, oh, look, I can work half the day and show I'm in the office, and the other half of the day I can be at home. And it's a nice feature. I like it.
Cool. The other one I really like is Microsoft Teams skin tone reactions. This doesn't mean you have a reaction by clicking a skin tone. However, in team settings, users have the option to select their preferred skin tone. This preference will be applied to all emojis and reactions in chats, channels, desktop web meetings, allowing users to express themselves more authentically in conversations.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Small to later. That means a lot. So I'm really glad they're doing that.
Yeah.
I had one high volume email for Microsoft 365. So it's a new service for a line of business other applications and other high value SMTP scenarios that enables you to send internal messages beyond the current limits of Exchange Online. So I could see if you had a line of business application doing, I mean, of course, this is going to be, I'm sure, within reasonable boundaries and with what you're doing. But if you're hitting the limits on, I could see someone who's been running Exchange on-prem and they moved into the cloud, then they hit the limits that are going to slow you down or different things like that. So I think for the people that need this, this will be a great way to do it. And so you kind of get what you get included, and then you get more if you need a certain plan. So I think that's good. I'm sure the people that need that are going to be very excited about it.
Important to emphasize internal messages only. This will not work for external.
They're not going to let you have a special plan to spam the world.
No, they will not.
And then one that I like, it's Microsoft Teams, describe it to design it within Teams workflows. That kind of made me giggle. So you mean Copilot for Teams workflows? Because that's what that sounds like.
Kind of like that, yeah.
If you can't find a workflow template that matches what you need, you will now be able to describe it on detail and how you want your automation to work, and that description will generate a workflow to match. That's nice. That's going to be great. I'm all about I'm digging these things that do this for me. So I love it. I think that's really cool. And then also Copilot for Microsoft 365 and Teams chat on mobile. So users will be able to easily access Copilot on the Teams mobile app. So that's good there. Little things that I'm sure will still keep coming there. So, Adam, do you have some things you want to go through, and then we can go back to Tamara and Tom and pick up others?
Yeah, I'll mention a couple things. One, just along the lines of what Jen was just updating. They also have a Microsoft 365 Help Me Create, which basically sounds like it's going to be Copilot, where you basically tell Microsoft what you're wanting to create, and it will help you go through and do it. So it sounds like essentially just a Copilot feature. But I think along the lines of the updates Jen was just giving, there's a couple cool things in DLP. I won't go into all of them, but if you use DLP, there's some stuff in there. For instance, they're going to give advanced notifications. So if you have a DLP violation, you're going to be getting more options on what you can share and the type of information you can tell your user. Right now, there's a DLP violation. It basically just notifies you, hey, there's a DLP violation. You can have it notify the user telling them that I did one, but you'll be able to do custom HTML, maybe even attach the message in question that was a violation, stuff like that in the near future, which is kind of cool. Kind of nice. Just gives you more options. Interestingly enough, customers sometimes are super paranoid about that because, like, well, I don't want to cause another DLP violation by sending what was out. But as long as it's internal, it's normally fine. And then the final thing I'll mention, just because I think this is a cool feature. So we talked briefly about Clipchamp a couple months ago. Clipchamp is basically a video editing software that is being incorporated in the M365 suite. So just cool to see new features coming out. So a new feature for silence removal. So basically if there's like audible pauses in the video, there's a feature that will basically go through and identify where there's audio pauses and remove that to make your video flow smoother and whatever you're doing flow smoother. So
Yeah,
nice to see new updates
cool.
coming for there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I've been pretty impressed with Clipchamp. Still testing through a few things to see if it's something we can bring to the team instead of having to use a full-bodied Camtasia
But something that could
suite or
potentially
something
save
like
you
that.
money. Yeah, for sure. Seems nice.
Absolutely. Tom, how about you? What else is in development that gets your goat?
So one of the things that I'm liking, because it basically is how I use Outlook on the web, and that is collapsible date headers. So if you are in Outlook on the web or the new Outlook, and if you've chosen to show date headers in the message list, so it shows you, basically, for this date and then, yesterday and stuff like that, you can't really collapse those down to get further down the list much easier. Well, now you're going to be able to collapse those so you can collapse all the emails from this week in order to quickly get to the rest of the emails from this month. I think that is awesome. So you can just have, all these little group sections and just expand out the ones you want instead of having to scroll and scroll and scroll to get to where you need to be. So that's due to come out next month, and it should come out to everybody. So that's nice.
Awesome. How about you, Tamara? Anything else?
I think this is a bit of a, I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm very excited about it, but I think it's going to be overwhelming. SharePoint in-product feedback button.
I saw that one.
So Microsoft is introducing an in-product feedback button to SharePoint. So coherent with the rest of the Microsoft 365 suite. Now, this is going to provide the option to submit compliments. I like how they start off with that. Problems or suggestions about UI and UX and feature functionality to Microsoft. That's coming out in March. And who's that coming out for? That's just coming out for commercial first. But I'm thrilled that Microsoft put this in here. I know the SharePoint community, and I'm afraid Microsoft is going to get overwhelmed.
Well, I don't even think that. I mean, we have our training portal that people go to.
Yes.
How many questions are actually questions about the training or questions about some functionality in the site? It's a question about a process. It's a question about what the content is. It's a question. So I wonder, what are they going to do to stop from getting, like, is the user really going to think about, is it feedback on the site or is it feedback of what I did to the site or what the site owner did to the site? Like, so that it's going to be interesting, I think, to watch this one. I could see this one come and go. or say it's coming and then say it's coming differently. Like this one just feels like it's inviting issues if the questions can't get first looked at, or the feedback can't be first looked at by internal people. I could be wrong.
I just know
but
some of the customers in our area, they're going to click that button and go, I don't like it in the fact that I can't enter my claim number properly. That has
and that has
nothing to do with
nothing to do with
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Right.
So that's going to get ignored. They're going to be ticked off because nobody ever responded to them. I just don't see it as a very positive thing.
Yeah, it all depends on how they do it. Maybe they'll guide them through to say contact your site if they give us a thing and it says contact your site admin for this type of thing, otherwise go here, and then it actually goes to the site admin. Like maybe, I'm not going to knock it out yet. I just think that is going to.
It's ripe for misuse if it's not handled properly.
Right. Oh my gosh, right. Adam, can we quote that? It is right for misuse if it's not handled properly. How many times could we say that about everything in the world?
Pretty much. Golden folders. I mean, come on. Ripe for misuse.
I'm going to do that next time I'm in a meeting. I want to give feedback on a product. It is right for misuse if it is not handled properly. I love that. Love that. There are a bunch of Viva updates around things like glint notifications and nudges, Viva Engage leader dashboard. You've got pin posts to the leadership corner. So I think a lot of little things that are going to be delighters and pleasers are coming out. Nothing that seems so like spectacular or crazy. It's probably if you've used it before and you're looking for it, like maybe it was a feature in Yammer or something like that, you're going to like it, but nothing that would make me think, oh my gosh, our users are going to lose it. But there's one more that I think people who
are going to lose it over.
Well, maybe I don't think they'll lose it over. I think they'll really like this one. But
right.
And the Apple AirPods to mute and unmute and do a Teams meeting. Because, if you have AirPods, you kind of use them to mute and unmute yourself in all your other calls, but then you can't do it in Teams. So then you probably do it anyway, and then it doesn't unmute you, and then you're muting, and then you have to come off mute and say, sorry, I was on the double mute. I don't know if that's ever happened to anyone else, but that happens in so many calls I'm on. So I think that will be one that people will be finally is what they'll say on that one. So that's all I had. Does anyone else have anything in development they wanted to chat through?
Nope.
Awesome. Well, Tom, why don't you take us over to rolling out? And this is stuff, again, that's starting to hit tenants, not completely launched, but starting to roll out. So you may see it soon.
There's a couple in Teams that I'll mention. One is a private line. So this is basically something that you can give to a person. It's a second phone number, and they can make it available to a select set of callers to call them directly, bypassing the delegates, the admins, assistants. The inbound calls to the private line will be distinguished by unique notification and ringtone, and it will support incoming calls only. So I think that's nice if you're spending all your time on the, call center, phone, stuff like that, and you're getting calls coming in, but you need somebody to be able to call you directly. I think this is a really nice feature, so you can have a separation between this is what I do as my job, but these are contacts I need to get from people, perhaps, my kid or something like that, to have a private line coming in. So that's interesting. And then meeting invite improvements. This is really minor in my book, but all that meeting invite information that shows at the bottom of the email that you get, they're going to be reorganizing it, making things a little bit more bold that, you need to click here, grouping things. So options that organizers have to see are going to be grouped in a little organizer section. So you just don't have a bunch of information scattered around. You have to, hunt and choose. Is this for me? Is this not? So that's rolling out this month, coming out to everybody. So if you're used to looking at something more than just join, which is pretty much all I do, keep in mind that may change a little bit, but it doesn't sound like any of the functionality is going away or being enhanced. It's just going to move around on the screen a little bit.
How about you, Tamara?
I like watermark support for recording playback. Now, this is only available in premium, but recording can now be enabled for watermarked meetings, and an email ID will be displayed as the watermark during the meeting recording playback. Now, once a meeting has concluded, users can access the recorded content on both the web and mobile platforms to watch the recording with the watermarking.
I find it interesting that the watermark is just an email ID. Most companies that I would think would want to do this would put like their company
want the
name
name
as
of the
a
company.
watermark or something,
Yeah.
not just an actual user's email ID. But I guess this is a starting point of something else.
Well, I think from what I've seen with the watermark in Teams Premium, it goes with the person who's talking.
Oh, sure, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, so it's kind of changing based on different things. So, but I do think there's room for, to your point, Adam, I think there's room for improvement. They've done some really good stuff in Teams Premium with what you can do for branding, meeting lobbies, and stuff like that. I think more stuff would be coming, especially in that watermark area, because I kind of look at it and I'm like, huh, that's, like, yes, that's the watermark. I'd like to make it say something different, but yeah, but I agree with you, Adam. I don't think I really had anything other than, I've got one. It's Copilot, Microsoft see if I can get the words out. Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 in the Teams chat list. So you'll be able to chat with Copilot from the Teams. I mean, let's just get used to it. If you don't see Copilot there now, you'll see it there soon. You should just kind of take that assumption around everywhere. So Copilot's coming to Teams chat list, so you'll see it there. Adam, how about you? Do you have anything in rolling
Yeah,
out
I have
this week?
one. I'll add Microsoft Teams new admin policy for enabling/disabling tenant users to join externally hosted meetings. It sounds like you're going to be able to do this more granularly. Right now, it's just can users join external meetings, yes or no. It sounds like you'll be able to like identify partners that you're okay with people joining, but not unknown users or stuff like that. It sounds like it's just giving admins a little bit more control, which again, I could see this being beneficial. Maybe I have certain compliance standards where I need to make sure that the meetings and what they're talking about, for instance, always occur in GCC High, because I want to make sure that information is not being discussed in somewhere that has the chance to be stored outside of the US. But then I know that, okay, well, the customers that can host those meetings that I know are on GCC High, I can add as approved people, but maybe the partners we work with that are on commercial can't, and so we can not add those to the approved ones and therefore not allow my users to join those meetings, stuff like that. So kind of nice to see the feature, and I could see this being helpful from a compliance standpoint from an admin perspective, whereas right now it's just a hard yes or no.
Well, cool. So in Launch, there's only 2 of them. So Adam, I see one of them is about DLP, so I'll let you take that, and then whoever wants can cover the other one.
Yeah, so the DLP one is just data loss prevention view only mode for DLP and information protection policies and labels. So basically, this capability allows the admin with view only restricted permissions to view the data loss prevention and information protection policy configuration details without editing the actual policy label configuration. So basically, if you have view only permissions as an admin, right now, you could see if there's a policy created, but you couldn't go into the details of the policy, because the only way to go into the details of the policy is by editing it. So if you were an admin with view-only permissions, you just knew a policy existed, but not any of the details of the policy, they're just modifying it, or you still can't actually go in and modify anything, but you'll be able to see the details of it. This is just a UI improvement to make it easier for people to have read-only access. So nice to see.
Very cool. Anyone want to cover the other one, or?
Go for it.
Microsoft Teams. No, the wrong one. Sorry. Microsoft Viva. I was going into canceled right away. Microsoft 365 Groups Connected Viva Goals Teams. A lot of words there. But this is, in short, users will now save time with a simplified setup experience for setting up their Viva Goals teams. That's all it says. It's out there, and it's out on commercial worldwide. So.
And someone didn't get their HTML correct for.
And somebody didn't get their HTML correct. No.
For that intro.
Yeah.
Funny.
So.
Well, there's a couple for canceled. The first one is frosted glass backgrounds in Teams meetings. So basically, instead of doing a blur, it was going to do a glossy frosted thing of an image you gave it. So That's been canceled. I'm guessing they either couldn't make it work and make it look good, or they couldn't make it consistent or cause performance issues. Who knows? But they are canceling that and making an update when they have an updated timeline. The other one was enabling second video stream with Teams content camera on desktop. I think this is important for people because sometimes when everyone has multiple screens, like where are you looking and all of those different things, and where do you want the camera and which camera do I want to use? So that one, it says it will make a new announcement available when it's out. And then finally, Power BI Microsoft Copilot dashboard with Viva Insights. That one, the Copilot dashboard is no longer coming. So I have a feeling we'll see something different in that place. To get prepared for Copilot, there's a lot that's going to have to be done, and surely Microsoft is going to help us get prepared. So I'm sure we'll see more coming there. But those are the 3 canceled items. We haven't had 3 canceled in a long time. It seems like canceled's been pretty low. So a pretty solid week of updates, I think, this week. So you can join us again next week when the team is back, minus me. I will not be here next week. But everybody will have a great time this week, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.